The Gina and Matty podcast.
Hey, let's get stuck into some news that Suze didn't use. And, well, making news all yesterday afternoon and continuing today is comedian Arj Barker at the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
A young mother says she's been left humiliated after being asked to leave a Melbourne Comedy Festival show while breastfeeding her 7-month-old baby. American comedian Arj Barker has defended his decision, saying it was a distraction to his performance.
Yeah, and then the mum was doing the rounds on pretty much every channel last night, and in what could only be described as potentially a scene from Curb Your Enthusiasm, she was on the project and this happened.
So I just thought it'd be really nice to do something that I hadn't done in a while, and just sort of get back to sort of a pre-baby me. She's super cranky right now.
Okay, maybe she can go to Dad just for a quick second. But like, you know, a mum with 3 little kids,
try.
I reckon you need a laugh.
Literally. Sarah Harris asking her to not have the child there so she could do a proper interview.
Are you?
Why would Arj not want the baby there then?
Oh my God.
Sarah, I thought she could just chuck it on the boob.
Well, yeah, we'll unpack more of that later in the show. What else have we got? Bluey has received special recognition from the Australian High Commissioner in London, acknowledging its significant cultural impact in the UK and across the world. High Commissioner Stephen Smith said this was a special one-off award. I will award the highest honour I am authorised to give.
Isn't that fabulous?
They decked out Australia House, called it Bluey House. You might have seen it rolling around on the news.
Yeah.
Our beautiful country is a character in the show just as much as any of the dogs. So to have brought it into the living rooms of the whole world, encouraging people to come and visit, is something I'll always be proud of. That's the show creator Joe Brum talking about Bluey there. Get this, it was the second most viewed show in the US last year with 43.9 billion minutes spent watching Bluey.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow. What was weirder was it was second behind Suits, which I found interesting as well.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah.
People are curious about that again.
Yeah. What else have we got here? Robert Irwin received rave reviews for his co-hosting skills alongside Julia Morris on this season of I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. But an insider has claimed he won't be back next year. According to the very reliable source of the Women's Day, or the Woman's Day, the wildlife enthusiast has been poached back by a rival network, Channel 7.
Oh, I heard that he every day on the set, his mum was there.
Well, the strategic negotiation is said to be orchestrated by Robert's mother, Terry Irwin, Mummager, who has hailed as the ultimate Mummager. There we go. The Irwins are very smart when it comes to negotiations, the insider said.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at what else is going on. Oh, do you like this one? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A few people have been inducted. Gina Jeffries, the one and only Cher, has been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Wow, good on her. How old is she now? Like, she's pretty getting up there.
I'm going to go with, producer Loz is Googling, I'm going to go with 77.
79.
71. What is she? 77.
How amazing does she look? But, you know, a little bit of work to look that good.
And you're only as young as the fella you're feeling, and I think he's about 38.
I know. Good on you, sir.
Mary J. Blige, Foreigner, A Tribe Called Quest, Kool and the Gang have also been thrown into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, along with Ozzy Osbourne as well. So that's what's making news there. I want to finish with a bit of stuff that I missed yesterday, actually. Young Aussie doing good. Aussie teenager Tori Lewis has stunned the athletics world to win the women's 200 metres in her debut in the Diamond League appearance. The 19-year-old produced a devastating finish from lane 9 to upset world 100-metre champion Sha'Carri Richardson in the Diamond League season opener in China on Saturday night. She ran the 200 metres in 22.96 seconds, beating the world champ by 0.03 seconds. A sizzling performance put down just less than 100 days to go before the Olympics, which was fantastic. This was her after the race.
Yeah, I mean, you've beaten Sha'Carri Richardson tonight, a world champion.
Yeah, absolutely. I honestly didn't notice I beat them until I saw the replay, and I was like, holy crap. But yeah, so surreal.
Bit of self-censoring there. Good one, Aussie. Oh, no, I got one more. We got time. A woman who stalked Harry Styles has been jailed and banned from seeing him perform. Myra Cavallo, 35, sent the singer 8,000 cards in less than a month, the Harrow Crown Court was told.
What?
She was sentenced to 14 weeks imprisonment after pleading guilty to a stalking charge on Tuesday. A restraining order lasting for 10 years was also imposed on Caravello. She was told she could not attend any event where Styles was performing. 8,000 cards.
That's a lot of money. Like if they're $1 each, even $2
Oh,
each.
in this economy.
She spent quite a lot of money.
Cards aren't cheap.
Yeah.
They're like $7, $8 a card these days. Not that I buy cards that often because it's just like, I'm a dude and guys don't buy cards. It's like, here's a present in a bag.
Getting jailed over cards, though.
Considering what other
Well,
people
you
don't
wonder
get
what
jailed
else.
for.
Yeah.
What else she might have done.
It's, I don't know.
Well, so some of the cards were wedding cards. 2 of the letters were hand-delivered.
Oh, okay.
But let's just break this down a little bit, all right? So it's 8,000 cards she sent to the singer in less than a month. So let's say it's 8,000 cards in a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's 266 cards or letters a day.
Clearly that's nuts. That is literally nuts.
Yeah.
Your hand would be so sore.
What are you doing at work?
Right,
Well, she's not working. She's got no time to work.
This is her job.
All that late night stalking. Okay, let's get into this. Arj Barker, a stand-up comedian, he's been big in Australia for many, many years, has caused a bit of a stir.
A young mother says she's been left humiliated after being asked to leave a Melbourne comedy festival show while breastfeeding her 7-month-old baby. American comedian Arj Barker has defended his decision, saying it was a distraction to his performance.
She was sitting in row 4 of the Athenaeum in Melbourne, part of his International Comedy Festival show. There are a lot of reports on what exactly happened and who said what, who did this. They're saying that she was breastfeeding the baby at the time, but then it's come to light she wasn't actually breastfeeding the baby at the time. That's not why he asked her to leave. It was because the baby was making a lot of noise right during the time. So it started off as this is what Arj has said. Babygate, let's clear the air. I started my show last Saturday in Melbourne. The Athenaeum was pretty full and everyone seemed in a great mood. Then I heard a baby, not crying, but talking, as they do, just a few rows from the front of the stage. I made a few jokes about the baby not disrupting my show and they were well received, then we moved on. A few minutes later, the baby called out again and again. Now I was quite concerned. In my experience of doing comedy for nearly 35 years, an audience focus is a delicate thing. If a noise or movement distracts people mid-joke, the payoff can be greatly diminished. At this point, with about 50 minutes left of the show, I made a difficult decision. I then calmly informed the woman holding the baby that the baby couldn't stay. I felt bad doing so and stated that this time, as well as several times throughout the remainder of the show. As she was leaving, I offered to give her a refund as a gesture of goodwill. I want to be very clear that this was a very tough call which I made on behalf of the other 700 or so members who deserved to see the show they had paid for uninterrupted. I feel that it's also fair to point out that it is clearly stated on the ticket purchase site that this show is strictly for audiences 15 plus. The theatre should have flagged this before seating her, but for some reason they did not. He goes on talking about the decision. While a handful of people were also upset by my decision and they left with her, probably 99% of the audience remained and the show was well received. There were many positive comments after the show, with most stressing that they'd supported my decision, or they could tell it was a stressful one for me and all involved. It's been mentioned that she was breastfeeding the baby, which may or may not have been the case, but to suggest that this had anything to do with my actions is blatantly false, as I couldn't see well enough to know if she was or wasn't. Nor would I care. This was all to do with audio disruption of my show. Nothing more. For the record, I support public breastfeeding. It's perfectly natural. I'm genuinely grateful for everyone who came along to my show and always tried to do my blah, 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 Arj. Now, I think the breastfeeding angle has been used as a weapon to carry this on, to turn outrage bait and to get people to click on links and comment in comment sections on Facebook and Twitter where it's just rife at the moment.
If she was breastfeeding, you wouldn't have heard the baby.
No, and I've never breastfed because I haven't got no buzzies. But I'm a dad of 3 and Bella breastfed all 3 of my children. So very lucky to be able to do so. I know that that's not always the case. So we were in a very privileged position to be able to do that. One way to make a baby be quiet is to put it on a boob.
That's right.
So I'm of the opinion that it's totally okay to have adult-only spaces.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. And is row 4 of a stand-up nighttime stand-up show the right place to be bringing a 7-month-old baby?
So was the baby words or just noises?
Noises, just being a baby.
Now that I hear that he said, I feel more for him than I did because I hadn't heard as much detail as that. For because my first reaction was, well, you're a professional, and because I'm a performer as well, and I teach at my school with my kids, I jokingly say you have to stay in the bubble of the performance and don't let anything distract you. And I jokingly say, if a lion walked in right now, don't look because the whole audience will look and you'll lose your audience. Yeah. So I teach them all to ignore if someone up the back of the room drops a glass and it smashes, or if someone's yelling out, heckling, you ignore it and keep your audience focused on what you're singing or saying. But however, I hadn't heard him say all that sort of stuff. And my instant reaction was, well, you're a professional. You should be able to ignore that and keep the show going. And your show should be so good that they can't be distracted by an external sound coming from somewhere. But if it was consistent, the baby, I would probably be a little annoyed at that. But if I was on stage and that was happening. But the other side of it is also I'm always really conscious not to alienate any groups. No. So that you're going to lose some of your audience. So I've never been political or never called someone out on stage because really I want them to come back to my show. Yeah. So he was really put in a difficult position there. Now that I've heard that, I feel for him. At first I was like, oh, come on. But once you hear from his point of view.
That's right. And we heard from the mum Trish all yesterday. She was doing the rounds. She was on 3AW in Melbourne, A Current Affair. She was on The Project. It couldn't have, I don't think that you could have written a comedy script better than her appearance on The Project, because they were there. Oh, how dare Arj Barker ask you to remove your baby so they could concentrate? And then this happened on The Project.
So I just thought it'd be really nice to do something that I hadn't done in a while, and just sort of get back to sort of a pre-baby me. She's super cranky right now.
Okay, maybe she can go to Dad just for a quick second. But a mum with three little kids, I reckon you need a laugh.
Yeah. Maybe can you just remove the baby so we can continue the interview in peace?
Yeah. That's no, Sarah.
I don't know firsthand the struggles of being a mum and breastfeeding, but I have seen it with my wife, and I think it's just a call. Being a parent is a sacrifice. You sacrifice things being a parent, and especially in those early months. Maybe you just don't go. I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's not a popular one, reading the comments online, but that's my opinion. Would we be having this discussion if it was the tennis? If she'd taken a 7-month-old to the tennis and it started crying and they're trying to play a game of tennis.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
Or the opera or a musical. Yeah. That's what happens in theatres, other shows like that. I don't know. We get booed out of a tennis match if it was a baby crying and you took the baby along.
Yeah, tennis is different, I think.
I want to have a quick chat to Kira in Hamlin Terrace, if I can get my phone to work properly. Here's that. I'm going to press that there and I press that one there. And then we have Kira. Hi, Kira.
Hello, Maddie. How are you?
I'm great, mate. Gina's here too.
Hi, Kira.
Hi, Gina.
What can we do for you this morning, Kira?
Look, my 4-year-old daughter, we love listening to you guys in the morning, and we're heading to swimming lessons now, and every time Tilly hears Star 104.5, she loves singing it. So she just wanted to get on the radio and sing it to you.
Oh, Tilly. This is your moment, Tilly. Take it away.
Star 104.5, go, sing it.
I could hear that. Even if you couldn't hear it at home, I heard that in my cans, and it was brilliant.
Cute.
Tilly, is Tilly a goldfish? What is she at the moment at swimming lessons?
I'm not sure. She's a born mermaid.
A born mermaid. Well, have a fantastic morning. Thank you for that, Tilly. Thanks, Kira.
Tilly.
All right, now this story is the one that's been unfolding around Arj Barker, who has been facing quite a bit of criticism for asking a mother to leave his comedy show with a disruptive baby. The woman said she felt humiliated after being asked to leave while breastfeeding her baby during Barker's show at the Athenaeum Theatre on Saturday in Melbourne. Barker said the show was clearly advertised as strictly age 15 plus and that the 7-month-old was disrupting the performance. They were sitting in row 4.
Yeah.
Look, again, the breastfeeding element of this story, I think, has snowballed because the discussion is around whether a 7-month-old should be there at a comedy performance and like a 9 p.m. comedy performance while 700 other people have paid tickets to come along. Other parents have got babysitters.
That's
forked
right.
out big coin. They're paying whatever it is, $50 an hour these days for a babysitter, $25 an hour. Yeah. And then they've gone out and then, you're getting disrupted by a baby. You're like, hang on a minute. I could have stayed at home and got disrupted by
That's right, yeah. And maybe her babysitter cancelled the last minute or something. I guess you don't know.
And then, so we were just watching, actually, Arj Barker was just on Channel 7. They're talking to Sunrise, and he was saying that the Sunrise team was saying that when he did ask her to leave, there was a few people potentially yelling out and maybe ganging up on her.
Yes.
Which is terrible. You don't want anyone to feel ashamed or embarrassed
No, and he
happened.
felt bad about that.
Yeah.
He said in the moment he couldn't really tell what was going on.
No. In my opinion, I think it's totally okay to have adult-only spaces as a parent. You need them.
Yes.
You need them. And also, on the other hand, there are plenty of things I missed out on in the early days when the kids were little because we had them. And well, we can't do that because we've got a 3-month-old.
Yeah.
We can't do that because we've got 2 kids that are under 2.
Yeah.
It's that was my theory on it anyway. No. You're a performer, Gina. How would you go if there was a 7-month-old in front of you when you're
well, there has been because country music shows are family so there's
friendly.
The whole family and there's always a distraction.
Yeah.
And you just, I've always just kept on going with the show. I would probably work with that as well and say how cute the baby, what's the baby's name, include the baby in the show a little bit. But it would have been distracting if it had kept going and going. But for me, then I'll be able to talk a little bit and play a song and you won't hear the baby anymore. Yeah. Whereas Arj Barker as a comedian doesn't have that gap where potentially the baby might have settled because there was music on. It's just him talking with nothing else. So any tiny distraction would totally, I guess, ruin the punchline for him. He hasn't got the audience's full attention anymore.
Absolutely. Emma's in Gwendolyn. Hi, Emma.
Hi, Maddie. Hi, Gina. How you going?
Hi.
Good, mate. You've got a 10-month-old. Tell us you've seen this story doing the rounds in the last sort of 24 hours. How's it made you feel?
Look, I feel for the mum, but I think after hearing you guys talk about Arj's side, it does make sense what he did. I mean, I don't think there probably was an easy way for him to say what he said to her and to ask her to leave. But, I mean, personally, if I'd taken my baby and they were making, noises that were very obviously heard by everyone, I probably would have walked out. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe other people don't think the same, but
no, I think you're right, Emma. If you were at a funeral or a wedding with your baby and your baby started making a lot of noise, your instinct is to grab your baby and take them outside, so there's no distraction. Yeah, so I agree. I would have. If it was me in the audience, I would have grabbed my baby and walked out because it is a bit embarrassing, I guess, as well. But let the baby be noisy, but just get up and go outside.
It is, and I'm a breastfeeding mum too, so I mean, I can see why people got up in arms about why breastfeeding was brought up. But like you said, if that boob went in that baby's face, they would have been silent.
Absolutely.
The Gina and Matty Podcast.
For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.